Marvel Tokon has recently made a huge announcement with 3 new characters joining the roster to complete the X-Men team. Wolverine, obviously, Magic, who has been in the spotlight a lot recently, and also the personification of the X-Men Danger Room, but hit with an anime beam. And finally, Storm as their team leader. At the end of that trailer, we see 4 grayed out characters with a question: which team will assemble next? So I thought about it, I analyzed the trailers, and I'm ready to share with you my predictions on what the rest of the teams are gonna look like. Starting with the Avengers. I think it's a pretty obvious lineup with Captain America as team leader, followed by Iron Man, Thor, and Hulk. It's nothing groundbreaking, I'm sure most people predict that exact team. The Avengers Tower is visible in the background of New York stage, and Arc gives us this with the statue of Earth's mightiest heroes, -1. However, with the classic costumes for both Cap and Iron Man, I believe we will get the classic Avengers lineup. Next up are the Champions. This will be the team led by Spider-Man and will include Ms. Marvel. Now I know what you're thinking, Peter Parker isn't the exact Spider-Man that was part of the Champions, but there will be no other way to make it work, and I doubt we will get both Spider-Man on launch, especially with the small roster. Besides, he seems pretty young, based on his design. The third member of this team will be of course Sam Alexander, Nova. Being the third founding member of the Champions and being recently included in Marvel Cosmic Invasion, he seems like the perfect pick for the team. He was part of Spider-Man's team in Ultimate cartoon, so he just feels like the right pick since that's what most people associate him with. Now, for the last pick, I had to think a bit more. I doubt characters like Ironheart or Brawn will make it, as they would be too similar to characters like Iron Man or Hulk. So I went with a character I believe would have a fun, varying playstyle, but could also provide useful assists. And that character is Nadia Pym, the Wasp. Her size changing could make her a character that's difficult to counter playing against her, but also hard to master. This is a guess based on Janet Van Dyne building in New York, leading me to believe some sort of Ant-Man character will make it. So it would be a no-brainer to put her on this team. With that team complete, let's move on to the next one. Now this one's a bit of a stretch, but stay with me. We know Doctor Doom will lead one of the teams. And in the Savage Lands stage, in a cave called Cave of the Banished, we can see some sort of equations, some chemistry, I guess, physics, written in some kind of green paint. Now I believe this is where we will first meet Doctor Doom, and the writing on the wall has been done using either his tech or his magic. But who would even be on Team Doom? Well, the second member of his team will be Magneto, as we can see War Room X, one of his secret bases, in the background. It's pretty obvious that the two will have to make up and work together against a greater threat, or maybe become the greater threat themselves. But how do we connect the Fantastic Four and an X-Men villain? Well, with our third member of the team, Namor. He will be the best bridge, as he has connections to both teams and his visual design doesn't stray far from your average Savage Land resident. The main problem was the final member. At first I wanted to throw in Rogue, call it a day, but in the X-Mansion stage we can see Gambit sitting with someone wearing a green and yellow suit with a brown jacket on top. So with her out of the question, I thought about Khazar, but then I saw him just standing there in his treehouse. So with him also out of the way, I was left with only one choice: the High Evolutionary. And it makes a lot of sense, as he brought Savage Land back in its entirety after a giant robot named Terminus destroyed it. It makes for a well-balanced team of villains that aren't pure evil in every story, and can also help the heroes. Now, for the hardest part of this video, the Ghost Rider team. Led by Robbie Reyes, it would make sense for it to consist of street-level heroes, but as you probably noticed, Star-Lord needs to make it on his team somehow. Besides, Daredevil won't be joining his team, as he's seen in the window of Nelson and Murdoch office, limiting my choice of popular street-level heroes. But having seen Cosmo and Baby Groot as lobby pets, we can assume that Guardians will play a role in this story. As for what the team will end up like, Ghost Rider and Star-Lord are 2 members we know of, leaving 2 spots left to fill. As for those last 2 members, I haven't been able to find any solid evidence in the trailers, so call it a gut feeling. Now, the usual 4-member team I would arrange would be Ultimate Alliance style, with Star-Lord, Gamora, Drax, and Rocket and Groot being a single character. But with only 2 slots, we need to get more creative. I went back to Marvel Rivals and Cosmic Invasion rosters looking for any connections and managed to find one character that might appear on this team. This character is Phyla-Vell, but not exactly her Cosmic Invasion design. I put my money on this one when she was Captain Marvel. At the very end of the X-Men trailer, we can see this exact symbol drawn on the side, coincidentally right next to Ghost Rider. But that only gives us 3. So who will be the final member of the Guardians team? To be honest, your guess is as good as mine. I've been looking through any events that cross over Guardians and X-Men, as the latter seem to be the spotlight of Tokon, and went through the trailers back and forth, but can't seem to find any clues. Groot and Rocket are popular characters, but I'd put my money on someone rather new in Marvel Universe, namely Angela. She was a member of the Guardians of the Galaxy and got pretty popular after joining Marvel Rivals. It seems, since they are ready to pick more obscure characters, they might also go for some unusual members of the teams they want to include. Having said that, there is no real evidence to support that take, so take it with a grain of salt. This is what the final lineup looks like. What do you think? Would you arrange the teams differently? Or maybe even have completely different team ideas? Make sure to leave them in comments below. Thanks for watching. If you liked this video, make sure to subscribe, because I will be making update videos as more teams get revealed. Hopefully you have a great morning, evening, rest of your day, and I'll see you next time.